Sorrel Garmd out here in Glendora. Another day, another dollar. Thinking about on the way over here, I want to recount the tale of a recent TIPS placement. This went down last Friday. It's pretty nice. So I was working on interventional. Very busy day, very busy day. Nothing crazy, a lot of routine procedures, but just like a lot of them. And just kind of working through the day, just doing these cases, a couple bone marrow biopsies, transpedicular biopsy, some venous lines, etc. Working through the day, got notified about a potential TIPS. A patient in the ER that was having hematemesis, hemoglobin of 5, but then he's getting blood, so his hemoglobin has responded. I reached out to the gastroenterologist who had been seeing him, and we had a little chat, and the basic story was this. The guy's got portal hypertension, cirrhosis, he's got varices, he's been bleeding. He's had several episodes, actually, of this, of showing up in the ER with hematemesis and hemoglobins that are low in the 5 and 6 range. And he's got varices that aren't really esophageal, they're more gastric, and they're actually difficult to endoscopically visualize and treat. So he felt that he could not treat these endoscopically. When I heard about the gastric varices, I was thinking about a BRTO, so I suggested a contrast-enhanced CT Appel. It got done. I was looking at it with a technologist. The technologists I work with there have a ton of experience treating chronic liver disease, so they're probably better than most physicians at looking at these things. But anyways, we're looking at the scan. Huge gastric varices, big portal vein, definite evidence of portal hypertension, no splenorenal shunt. Unfortunately, there was no splenorenal shunt. So that was problematic. In order to do a BRTO, you need a splenorenal shunt. He didn't have it, so therefore we could not do a BRTO. So then I was thinking about it that, well, the only way to decompress these guys' varices is to reduce the portal pressure with the TIPS. Decompress that hypertensive portal vein into the hepatic veins and do a TIPS. And do it rather urgently, as this guy has been having several episodes of hematemesis. One thing I learned from my fellowship was that when somebody starts throwing up blood like this, every time they show up bleeding, that could be the last time. That could be it. So we had an opportunity to do this. It ended up being that this would happen kind of late in the afternoon, going into the evening, late evening. And what's cool is that, it's all good. That's all good. I mean, everyone was cool with staying late to do this because, one, certainly I have an interest in treating portal hypertension. It's something I was trained to do in fellowship. And I think, too, it's just people, in healthcare, as broken as the system is, as messed up as the system is, as perverse as the incentives are in the system right now, especially with corporate models, especially with corporate practice of medicine. As perverse as the incentives are in medicine, I think people still do care to do something good for people when they have the opportunity. When they're presented with the opportunity to be helpful, I think people do it. And that's kind of a saving grace, I think, of the American healthcare system, is the people. But anyways, we get anesthesia support. We get the guy on the table. So I go there to see the patient, and I discuss all these things with him, and I gain the patient's trust, and he understands that this is a therapy that could be, in his case, life-preserving, life-saving, because he is in a very risky situation with recurrent high-volume variceal bleeds. So we get everything set up. Really nice case, So I'm working in the IJ, his hepatic vein, very easy to catheterize. We get into it right away. We get the sheath down there. We get the cannula down there. One thing I've learned over the years with the TIPS placement is the positioning in the hepatic vein. You sort of got to back it up. When you first get in the hepatic veins, I feel there's an anxiety that you're going to come out of the hepatic vein. You want to get in there deep. You want to start and there's a tendency to wrongly do your passes from a mid-hepatic vein portion. And what I've realized is that you're never going to hit the portal vein if you're deep in the hepatic veins. What you have to do is back up in the hepatic vein almost till you're out of the hepatic vein, and then point your cannula almost kind of downward, and you're basically aiming for that. They actually refer to it in the literature as a crotch, where the two portal veins, left and right, kind of come together and make that main portal vein. And literally you're aiming for that right there. and it's actually a pretty decent sized target once you're pointed right at it. And luckily, we were working together. I was working with a technologist with decades of experience in treating portal hypertension in large hospitals in Los Angeles. And within a couple needle advancements, we got into the portal vein, which was huge. Ton of portal flow, a lot of bleed back into the little blue catheter. We got a glide wire advantage down into the mesenteric veins, and we just started working on this. We got the balloons, we dilated the tract, we pre-dilated the tract with a 6 mm, got the sheath down, did a study of the portal vein, hepatic veins, measured out the parenchymal tract, advanced the Viator, deployed it, flared out the tip, pulled it back till it caught on the tract, then ripped off the stent and plastied the stent, and it was a done deal, and it just went smoothly, it went nicely. Thankfully, he did well. Went to the ICU afterwards, and it was a late day. I think we're done around 8 or 9 o'clock at night, but it felt good. Did a lot of cases that day. Did a very important case. Saw an opportunity to treat life-threatening variceal bleeding and capitalized on it. Did it. The team was there with me, and that's a win. That's a win for healthcare. That's a win for me personally, professionally, as an interventionalist, as a young interventionalist, and follow up this patient to see how he does. So, anyways, that's a little story and tips placement out here, East Los Angeles. I'm here at Glendora, a little closer to the mountains, and probably going to read about 80, 90 diagnostic cases before I head home today. Stroke RMD.